सभी दोस्त लोग का हार्दिक हार्दिक स्वागत है. So this is episode number 57, part 1 of Road to IPL Mega Auction. In the last series of 5 parts, we discussed about the new team Lucknow Super Giants. Correct? Yes. Lucknow Super Giants. Then we discussed CSK, we discussed RCB, we discussed KKR, and then we discussed Delhi Capitals. All the 5 episodes are out. If you have not watched it, go back, watch the first 5 episodes, and then start with the new part of this episode. So in today's episode, we will be discussing about the most consistent team in the IPL. By consistent, I mean from the bottom of the table, uh, the one and only
Consistency.
Unreal Consistency by Preeti Zinta, uh, too good a owner. So today in this episode, we will be discussing about our Punjabi team, Punjab Kings. So they have done their retention. They have retained only 2 players. One is Mayank Agrawal, who is probably going to be the captain of Punjab Kings, is what I believe, and the other one is Arshdeep Singh. So my first thought on these retentions were there. I think KL Rahul, they tried getting him, but he wanted a new team and a new franchise, and he rejected the offer given by the Punjab Kings, is what we
Mm.
heard. And looking at that team, I think,
That's for Neswadia said even like confirmed.
yep, that is confirmed.
The owner
But
itself.
but looking at that team, I think they made a blunder, but not retaining someone like Ravi Bishnoi, because they would have given him around 4 5 crore, and they would have gotten a young spinner who they could have invested in for the future. So my first
I
thought
think
was,
even Bishnoi they tried to retain, but he did not want to stay himself. So
oh, is it for Bishnoi as well?
even Bishnoi and both him and Shah Rukh Khan as well. So it seems like all of their like awful decisions from the past are haunting them because of that they're not able to keep all the great players they had bought. They're such a solid core in fact, but still they are not able to retain them because of the mistakes they made in the past.
Yeah, because I think that also comes down to how the franchise is run. Like the players who
Hmm.
have played for the franchise are not trusting the franchise to do
Yeah.
something well this season as well. So it
Yeah.
was
On the
clear.
other hand, we have players like Ruturaj Gaikwad, Orange Cap, playing at 6 crore. Meanwhile, Punjab, nobody wants to stay at Punjab, and this is like the only time players actually get a say because in the auction they don't get a say where they can go. So I guess players want to exercise that little bit of power they have in the one
Yes.
aspect they get it in, which is the retention phase.
So Ishwar, what do you think? Like looking at the retentions, uh, were they forced retentions, or they should have gone with the entire person, not retained anyone, or did they make the correct decision retaining Agrawal and Arshdeep Singh?
I think they've done they should have had one left arm pacer. So I think Arshdeep Singh is a very good retention along with
I
Mayank
think it's
Agarwal.
for 4 crore is really good.
Yeah, 4 crore Arshdeep Singh quality is really good, and you get Mayank Agarwal for 12. Maybe a couple of crores more for him, but it's fine. He would have gotten around 8 to 10 in the auction anyways. So वो तो ठीक है अभी 12 crore उसका है. But coming to their purse,
I
they
think they
have the
actually paid 14 for him.
yeah, so they are the largest purse right now. If you see 72 crores का है उनके पास purse. Ideally, what any franchise with brains would think is they would build some solid Indian core along the likes of the Shikhar Dhawan.
But
There
you're
is
talking
Ishan
about
Kishan.
brain, which Punjab Cooper Kings management
Actually,
don't have.
Punjab Kings had. I actually think Punjab Kings, other than Delhi and Chennai, had the best Indian core last year. They weren't able to keep a lot of it, but if you see, their Indians were the ones performing.
Yeah, and I
KL,
think
Exactly.
you see KL, Mayank,
Arshdeep,
Shahrukh.
Bishnoi, Shami, and then even Shah Rukh Khan,
Yeah.
Huda making his ODI debut soon. All those things like it was just the zero contribution from the foreigners. Puran was one of the worst foreigners we have ever seen. Jai Richardson and Meredith didn't even make it to the second half. And then so I think like if they retained their Indian core, I was actually surprised they
No.
didn't retain Shami because I think Shami for I think maybe like what second retention would have been 11 crore. I think for 11 crore Shami would have been a maybe overpaying by a crore or two, but top quality Indian pacers are always a luxury to have, and if they were able to retain Shami, they would have had another base.
I
No,
think
no,
I
see,
think
that is,
it
with
another
two
might
top
be a
Indian
case
pacers.
where Shami might have also rejected them because they have faced
Yeah, that could also be the
so
case.
many rejections already.
But
So,
yeah, I
yeah.
think given the rejections and like what they could have done, I think they probably did. I think Arshdeep is a great bargain and a great find by them. And for 4 crore, he's really young and he was nailing his Yorkers in the death. So Indian death bowler is always an incredible commodity. So I think Arshdeep is a great. I think Mayank, maybe they might have overpaid a crore or two, but I think that way at least they have the guarantee that they will keep him. And more importantly for Punjab, it like
No.
they're paying him 12, it ties up 14. That prevents them from wasting 14 crore on some BBL guy.
Yeah,
So
but then see,
from a Punjab
no.
perspective, overpaying for good players is better because we know if they have a lot of money, they can very well end up overpaying for bad players.
Yeah, so
So
see, here's where
that
I
is
want to
like
say
money
one
they
thing.
will not
No,
spend
no.
stupidly.
1 second. See, here's where I want to say one thing. See, they have 72 crores now. If they want, they can get any two of Shreyas Iyer, Shikhar Dhawan, and Ishan Kishan. They can buy any two
Yeah,
of them,
they could
and their
make their
Indian core is
choices.
sorted. Their batting is sorted.
Uh,
You have Mayank, Shikhar, and Shreyas, or Ishan,
yeah.
whoever. But then,
And they actually did try to get Shikhar last time as well. They won the auction for Shikhar, but he got RTM. Like
exactly.
Punjab, I think last mega auction, Punjab bought like 7 or 8 players
And
in the
all
first
got
lot, and
RTM.
all of them
Yeah.
got RTM. They bought
And they
Rashid
could
Khan,
even, yeah.
Duplessis,
But then this,
Rahane,
see,
Dhawan.
the same players, like if you go for, like if you consider someone like a Faf Duplessis, he would be a very good fit for Punjab because he's a very good
Yeah.
leader and he plays well on pitches where
Yeah,
there's
and
not
they could
as
also
much
look for a
assistance.
captain
Wait,
option as well. I
did
think
I hear
Mayank
the name
is
correctly? Ishwar praising Faf Duplessis.
backup.
Is it correct? If you have not, then last year when we started, this guy told that Faf is a finished player. This guy.
Okay, anyways,
Faf
yeah.
has
So you have
proven him
Faf
wrong.
Duplessis, you have David Warner, you have Alex Hills as well this time. I think Alex Hills will be playing this time. This is Jason Roy. There are multiple options they could look at the top. But then again, coming
Yeah,
to Punjab.
we'll coming back to that. So the next part we want to discuss about Punjab. So Punjab, why do I keep telling
Punjab Kings.
Punjab Kings? There are so many kings now in the IPL. But
Hare Raje Maharaje.
वो सब तो ठीक है, but looking at that Punjab retention, so they have one top order batsman filled, and probably do you think that Mayank keeps the captaincy or they are looking for a captain in the
I think
they
will
should
try
look for
to
a
get
captain.
somebody.
Yeah.
I think it will be like if their major captain choices are out of budget, then like Mayank will be the backup. But I don't think they will go into the auction
No,
for
they
sure
won't
thinking
have.
Mayank is the captain.
No.
Because if they had already made sure, they would have announced that. So I think they are still looking for somebody. But in the case that they can't find, फिर वो Mayank को back up.
I don't think Punjab will have any budget issues, man. I like if they want a captain, they can
पंजाब का
immediately
एक
buy him
और
back.
बजट इशू है कि वो हमेशा 10 करोड़ बचाते हैं कि प्रीति जिंटा घर पे पार्टी वार्टी दे तो
नहीं,
like
इस बार तो
they always go in with the highest budget. Even last auction they could have gotten any player in the auction, तो फिर भी 10 करोड़ लेके घर गए. तो hopefully this time for the sake of Punjab fans they don't do that, because probably the first hour of the auction when Preeti Zinta her player पे bid करेगी, that will be the most exciting 1 hour Punjab fans will see for the next 4 years.
That's also there, but then there's someone like Mitchell Marsh coming into this tournament as well. So I think he
but
would
Mitchell
be
Marsh
another.
is not a
Like,
captaincy option.
No, I'm
मतलब
telling like he
backup
would be a
third
really
number
good
3.
option
No,
in
But
Punjab.
honestly,
that is
like
different.
Punjab
But
basically किसी को भी ले सकती है जिसको वो चाहते
but
हैं लेना. Like 2 players, any दो.
but why
like
are
they could
people
basically
against
take their pick.
Mayank Agrawal as a captain? Because I think he might be a good
I
fit.
mean, I don't think it's a big issue, but I think like थोड़ा वो experience try करेंगे because they have not had the
I
best
say, hey,
experience with
bye.
captains. But
They can get better captains.
if something goes wrong, then Mayank can always be
So
the
so
captain.
if you want to just review the list of the players, I think the top options available only, I'm talking as per captaincy. So you have someone like Ian Morgan, you have
Warner.
you have Warner,
Yeah, I
you
think
have
Warner
Shreyas Iyer.
might be a good
Iyer
pick
है.
for
You
Punjab. pick.
you have only 3 capable captaincy options in the list.
There's Ashwin.
वो तो फिर से नहीं करेंगे, वो एक बार कर चुके हैं.
No, but
But
looking at sensible choices for a longer run, I think we have only 3 options. Or maybe you can say Dinesh Karthik.
There's Faf du Plessis as well, another captain material.
But Faf du Plessis
Duplessis
might also retire in another 1 year or 2 years.
तो वो कर सकते हैं फिर Duplessis then Mayank को vice captain
हाँ
बना
वैसा
के but I
करके कर
think
सकते हैं.
but I do think कि Duplessis से like I think like given the fact that उनके पास इतने पैसे हैं and like they can basically take their pick of any player, so I think like you know in T20s openers are probably the two openers are probably the two most valuable players. I think they will go for a
Shikhar
bigger name
Shikhar Dhawan
at the
maybe.
second opener. So I think either I think they will go for Ishan Kishan because ek to they need like they don't have many marketable players and Punjab have had that issue. So I think they will go for Kishan as their future
मार्केटेबल
star.
प्लेयर चाहिए तो वार्नर है भाई. ईशान
हाँ,
किशन
either
से कुछ
Kishan or
नहीं.
Warner, I think. I mean, Warner is marketable today. Kishan will be marketable tomorrow. But I think Kishan वो लंबा भी चलेगा and I think Mayank and Kishan would be a very entertaining opening partnership.
I feel
Both
Mayank and Dhawan
Kishan,
is
Mayank and
better.
Warner.
No, I feel Mayank and
हाँ.
Shikhar at the top is better, followed by Kishan or Iyer or anyone.
But-
Maybe they could do that as well. But
they have
or
so
they
much,
could go for Kishan at 3. But I
they have
would.
so much money that they can buy any two as well. Like they can buy Kishan plus Dhawan
हाँ,
or
Dhawan,
and
yeah,
Dhawan.
plus
Kishan
But I
plus
Warner.
think, like,
Iyer.
अगर किशन को ले रहे हो, I think best use उसका opening करा के ही होगा. But they could have other ideas as well.
Who will be the
And
coach?
wicket
Have they
keeper भी
announced the
sorted
coaching
है.
staff for
Iyer है.
Punjab?
Anil
Will it be
Kumble is the coach again.
अभी अनिल कुंबले ही है वापस.
कुंबले ही है, कुंबले
हाँ.
कुंबले.
गया मतलब.
but
But
so
interesting.
maybe they will sign a lot of more Karnataka talent as well. Maybe somebody like Manish Pandey.
हाँ sign कर लो.
हाँ मनीष पांडे आ सकता है.
They
Punjab.
actually did try very hard for Manish Pandey even last auction. I think last auction, both Sunrisers and Punjab went to 11
For
crores
Rahul
for
and
both
Manish,
KL
both.
and Mayank.
Yeah.
Manish Pandey. Yeah. Imagine if Punjab got Manish instead of KL Rahul. तब तो वो 8th में से भी 9th आते last 2 years.
But I think
I think
Punjab.
now they can get Manish at a cut price, so maybe they could go for
अगर
a
ऐसा
top 3
जाना
of
है तो यू टेक शंकर राइट. विजय शंकर को ही ले लो भाई. मनीष पांडे जितना परफॉर्म कर लेगा,
Shankar is
थोड़ा
honestly
बॉलिंग
not bad also.
थोड़ा बॉलिंग भी
But-
कर लेगा.
But I think like top 3 agar if it's something like Mayank, then Kishan, and then Manish as an accumulator stabilizer in the middle with the two crazy guys at the top, I think that could work pretty
I
well.
think they'll target Shah Rukh Khan as well again. because,
Shah Rukh Khan to everybody will target, but yeah.
Yeah, because Shah Rukh Khan has the USP of finishing, just coming up and hitting from ball one, and you don't have that many good players in Indian cricket team who can do that. Like we have people like Virat Kohli who does go ball by ball, everyone ball by ball, Shreyas Iyer ball by ball. So definitely I think, and I think that
and
is
is
also
Kai in
that-
the auction? Is Surya Kumar in the
No, he
auction
got
or
retained by Mumbai.
retain हुआ? अच्छा.
Surya Kumar is retained obviously by Mumbai and it's a good decision, but yeah, but I
Or
am
maybe
just,
even somebody like Padikkal could also be an option for Punjab. Like
but when you
Mayank
have
and
so much
Padikkal are
money, why
also
you should
good.
compromise on from Warner to
वही है.
Padikkal?
But Punjab का कुछ पता नहीं, but I would say it has to be either Kishan or Warner.
They might go all out for Curtis Patterson for all we know. 12
उनका
करोड़.
कोई पता नहीं
12
कहाँ
करोड़
से
के
कौन
रखेगा.
उठा ले. But I think like Warner or Kishan should be non-negotiable and they should go जितना भी चाहे किशन पे 16, 17, 18 भी करोड़ लग जाए. Just spend it क्योंकि उतने भी खर्च के they will have more budget than. And I think like Mayank Kishan में 1000 रन साल के पक्के हो जाएंगे at a very good strike rate and most balls उन्होंने ही खेलने हैं, so you can justify spending most of your budget on Mayank and Kishan.
Even if they spend, I was just doing a calculation, even if they spend 18 crore on Kishan or a Warner,
Which is an
they
overpay,
still
like ज़्यादा.
they still have 54 crore left, which is still more than the starting purse of so many teams. Like
And I don't
And
think
then they
इतना
would have
ज़्यादा
like
जाएंगे
most of
कोई
their
भी.
runs fit. Like middle order में 2-2 करोड़ वाले लोग डाल सकते हो, openers नहीं खेलना है. And Punjab of all teams know that. कि वो
देख
major
ले.
openers
नहीं
नहीं खेलना है.
देख ले. See, I don't think any player will go for more than 15 this auction.
I'm
Especially
saying in
and वो
case
15 भी
कि अगर
and
किशन
वो
के लिए
15
धक्का भी
भी
दे
for
दिया,
an all-rounder
they should
जाएगा.
spend it.
ऑलराउंडर जाएगा 15 भी या कोई बॉलर जाएगा, पेस बॉलर. बैट्समैन का बहुत है भाई.
Or maybe
Bairstow
somebody
है,
like
Roy
उनको
है.
Australians इतने पसंद है, maybe they could also go for somebody like Steve Smith at number 3
हाँ.
to like they have had middle order में collapse का problem, तो स्मिथ 2-3 करोड़
भाई
से ज्यादा
जॉनी
का
बेयरस्टो
होगा नहीं
is
एंड
also a very good option. जॉनी बेयरस्टो आ
Options
जाएगा चीप में, मिडिल ऑर्डर
options
पे
are
खेल लेगा.
options obviously because there are
ऑप्शंस आर
one
इनफिनिट फॉर पंजाब बिकॉज दे
there
नो कोई भी जो चाहिए
there
ले
are
सकते हैं.
1214 people who have registered for IPL, and out of those, I
Hmm.
think there are only 217 spots minimum to be filled. 217.
Hmm.
There might be few more, so it's going to be interesting because there are
Hmm.
lot of options for all the
And वो
franchise.
217 में at least 150 will be Indians. कम से
हाँ
कम.
मोस्ट नहीं कितने तो आई थिंक हर टीम ने एक ही फॉरेनर रिटेन किया है किसी आई थिंक 1
देख भाई,
पंजाब ओनली हैव नॉट रिटेन्ड अ
on
फॉरेनर.
an average you take on an average
हाँ
you
वन
take 5 to
फॉरेनर इज
6
सेटल.
foreigners, 5 to 6 foreigners per team
सेवन
लगा
रहते
ले.
हैं हर टीम रहता
हाँ
है like
हाँ
70
हाँ
70 total.
तो खत्म.
हम्म.
Yeah.
वही ना.
So yeah. So but looking at that Punjab team, they do have the most budget, but they do have a lot of positions to fill. So I'll start with Sid. Like, who do you think will be the marquee buy for Punjab? Like two marquee buys because of the budget they have. Who do you think they are going to sign? If you have to
Hmm.
select,
I would say like they have to go for Ishan Kishan or Warner at any cost. If one, I would go for Kishan. Obviously, Warner has his pluses as well, but Kishan offers wicket keeper. He's younger. He's Indian. Overseas slot bach jata hai. So I would go for Kishan and then maybe somebody like Smith at number 3 to stabilize. And then Smith is also on a captain option. So I would go that route and fair एक और marquee buy they could make in bowlers. They could have anything, but I think from a Punjab perspective, they have to think best player कौन है इस auction में, like who is the best one player we can get, and that is Kishan. I think realistically, given the budgets, only Hyderabad and Punjab would be in for Kishan. So I think like either one of those two, I think like
but
Punjab can outbid them.
don't be
If
surprised if
Hyderabad go crazy, then I think they could Punjab could settle with Warner because they know Hyderabad are not bidding on Warner.
yeah. But I
So
just
like
have a
दोनों
feeling
में
that
से एक.
Mumbai will go all out on Kishan and they will have 5 solid players, and then they can just make those sensible buys and maybe
Hmm.
let's see. Ishwar, who do you think will be the marquee buys? Two marquee buys for Punjab this
See,
auction.
in my head, Marquis is someone who can win you tournaments on his own. And I can see only 2 players in the list like that. Okay, I'm fine. Okay, Ishan Kishan has that X factor, marketability, blah, blah, blah. But David Warner and Shikhar Dhawan are your most consistent run scorers ever in IPL, followed by Shreyas Iyer. So if they get 2 out of these 3 also, their batting is sorted. 1500 runs आएंगे, 1000 नहीं इन तीनों से. तो वैसा होगा. So that's what I feel. One of like any 2 of these 3, David Warner, Ishan Kishan, and Shreyas Iyer.
So let's see. Like I think Preeti Zinta has always have that X factor in her like the way she comes to support. That's the only good part about Punjab Kings, I believe. Apart from that, they have been very inconsistent throughout. I think most bottom 4 finishes.
हम अभी इतने ईशान किशन वार्नर इतने
Shikhar.
लोगों की हमने बातें करी हैं. They could also get somebody like Rabada or like जो bowler चाहिए इतने लोगों की बातें करी है, but it would not be surprising if they end
No,
up with a core of
पंजाब के पास नहीं,
Mandeep
पंजाब
Singh
के
and
पास
Molpreet Singh and Simran Singh with Harpreet Brar and Sandeep Sharma as their bowlers.
अरे
Like
तो
उनका
नहीं
कुछ
नहीं देख देख देख
कह
नो
नहीं
सी
सकते.
व्हाट आई ऑब्जर्व विद पंजाब थ्रू आउट द इयर्स इज दे गो फॉर इंडियन बॉलिंग. अभी ये लास्ट टाइम अचानक से चेंज कर
इस
रहे हैं
बार
और
आई
वी सॉ.
थिंक दे विल बी स्मार्टर एंड लाइक वही
हाँ
2 ओवरसीज पेसर वाला करेंगे बिकॉज दे
हाँ
नो मयंक ऊपर है. तो आई थिंक हाँ दे विल ट्राई 1 ओवरसीज बैट्समैन, एक ओवरसीज ऑलराउंडर, 2
और एक
ओवरसीज फास्ट
इंडियन
बॉलर.
बैट्समैन और एक
हाँ
इंडियन
दे
बैट्समैन
डिड
बस.
ट्राई फॉर दैट लास्ट टाइम आल्सो, इट जस्ट डिडंट वर्क. 2 ओवरसीज
इस बार तो
पेसर्स वाला
इस
फॉर्मूला.
बार तो इस बार तो मतलब दे
हाँ
हैव बेटर
बिग
ऑप्शंस
बैश में
एज वेल.
बहुत विकेट लिए लोगों ने.
हेडन कर
हेडन
लेंगे
कर
भाई.
पे 12 करोड़ उड़ाएंगे.
So let's see what's in the store for Punjab Kings in the upcoming auctions. Pretty excited. Dates have been announced as well. 9 more days for the auction to go. Biggest carnival. So looking forward to it. And that's the wrap for this part of 57th episode. We have discussed about Punjab Kings, what their strategy should be, what their retention look like. So do
But I
share
think one
likes.
player they should definitely get is Harpreet Brar
हरप्रीत ब्रार
because
वाज
he was
रियली
an
गुड.
outstanding
वो,
local talent for
and
them.
वो
they
जाएगा 3-4 करोड़ तक
probably they
मिलेगा
should
उसको.
sign AP Dillo as their brand ambassador or something, because that will
वो तो
up
सारे
their
ही हैं.
marketing 10 times.
नहीं, ब्रार को तो 3 to 4 crores मिल रहा है इस बार, मतलब
हाँ, बरार एंड पंजाब ही आना चाहिए, पंजाब की शान को ऐसे कैसे छोड़ सकते?
बस सही है, पंजाबी मुंडे बहुत
हर्षदीप
बोल
एंड
रहे हैं।
हरप्रीत।
मनदीप सिंह तो है भाई, बेस्ट पंजाब बैट्समैन।
चलो देखते क्या होता है ऑक्शन में, बट या दैट वाज इट गाइस फॉर दिस पार्ट. So do share, like, subscribe, and stay tuned. In our next episode, we are going to discuss about Rajasthan Royals and look at their strategy and retention. So till then, stay safe. See you guys. Goodbye.